Cello, and today we are reacting to embarrassing dumb ways people died. Darwin Award winners. Honestly, that would suck. Imagine winning an award for your death. Like, just because of how embarrassing it was. That's my biggest fear, right? My biggest fear isn't to die, it's to die embarrassingly. So let's check it out.
That's right. Darwin Awards is back again, baby.
I don't really know what
Case of
Darwin Award is.
explosive chewing gum to a shocking virtual reality mishap.
Explosive chewing gum, that's not even your fault. That just sucks.
Alongside a fellow who
Like,
got
how does that
knocked
even
out by
happen?
a random flying cow. All this and so much more as we take a look at even more
Wow, cows really flew and bro got slimed because of it. That's crazy.
Darwin Award winners. Chew, chew, boom. If I told you someone died from chewing gum, you'd probably assume some sort of choking incident, right? Well, wrong. As we'll soon see, one chronically airheaded Ukraine man suffered a death by gum in perhaps the most unimaginable and, dare I say, mind-blowing way. This
Yo,
25
that's pretty funny. That's wrong, but it's mad funny. Imagine though, that would suck so much. Chewing gum, really?
chemistry student at the Kyiv Polytechnic Institute had a bit of a strange habit. He liked to dip his gum in citric acid powder, which
Okay, yeah, never mind. I said it wasn't his fault, but who sees like, yummy citric acid? No, what are you doing, brother?
reports suggest he did as a way of prolonging the gum's flavor. Interestingly, while it's naturally found in citrus fruits, citric acid in its concentrated form isn't exactly a great contributor to oral health, what with it causing tooth enamel erosion. Though I guess a cavity was the least of the guy's worries when the gum quite literally exploded in his mouth and blew his jaw off. But here's the strangest part. While this wouldn't have happened if he didn't have a taste for citric acid-laden gum, it wasn't actually the acid that caused this. Let me explain. One evening, this rookie chemist was hard at work in his room experimenting with, quote, various chemicals. Only later forensic inspection would find that one of the chemicals was around 4 times more explosive than TNT. And with explosives like this, sometimes all it takes to set them off is a little pressure. With this, authorities conclude
So how did it get in the gum? That's what I don't understand. How does that even happen?
concluded that the poor guy must have confused the powdered citric acid with the Bang Bang Boom Boom powder, and
No, bro dipped it in boom powder. That's crazy.
mistakenly dipped his gum in the explosive.
It's like that stuff Walter White made. Remember when he went to Tuco and he's like, boom! Imagine putting that in your mouth. You don't want that in your mouth.
If extra flavor was what he craved, he got a whole explosion when he bit down on it, resulting in him exiting the human gene pool with quite the bang. We'll send your Darwin Award in the mail.
Okay, so it isn't a real award. That makes a lot more sense, but still, I don't think he's gonna get that award, not gonna lie.
Holy cow.
This one just sounds like a bad... So, earlier, right, I thought the gum was gonna be an accident and you couldn't help it, like maybe a factory thing or whatever. But this one seems like just wrong place, wrong time, not gonna lie.
Coming in from one of our viewers, Mojesh Shah, and verified by Indian news sources, this next story is so crazy and unbelievable that I'm still trying to process what I read. According to an Indian news outlet, Times Now, in 2023, a retired railway employee in Alwar, Rajasthan, was for some reason taking a tinkle on the railway track, which, while certainly a strange choice, would also later prove deadly. Considering that
Well,
this
already,
was the
yeah,
exact
there's a bunch of wires and things, no? Like, it's already a bad idea. Like, every time I cross a railroad track, you can, like, see everything under it, and no, you don't want to be around those. You know what's always scared me? You know, like, the scenes where people fall into a subway? So, I've never been around a subway. I've never lived in a state with a subway. But, like, my biggest fear is if I ever go to a subway and I fall into one of those. You've seen, it's always mad sketchy. And I don't think they get you out like the movies.
spot that he would be hit, not by a train, but, am I reading this right? The exact spot that he would be hit
Okay, I was thinking of one of those. I'm gonna be honest. There probably isn't wires on a railway, but you don't want to be messing around with them either way. So,
By a flying cow. Okay,
yikes,
allow me to
that's
explain.
rough.
I can assure you that as miraculous as it would be, a cow didn't fall from the heavens, but instead it
No, that would not be miraculous. That's my biggest fear. Imagine flying cows. And think about it. A bird's one thing, but when that bird weighs like 500 pounds or however much a cow weighs, it's deadly.
gotten onto the train track further up the line and was yeeted at full
You know what's always scared me? And like, what do they do about it, right? When you're on a plane and that bird could fly into, you know how the movies it flies into it and then the whole wing of the plane just absolutely explodes? Could that happen in real life? It might be a dumb question, but let me know.
speed into the air, making its incredibly unlucky crash landing on the poor old urinator. I mean, it's like my late grandmother always used to say to me, "Watch out for those flying cows while taking a pee on train tracks." She was always full of so much wisdom.
Very specific.
And here I was thinking it was just her medication talking. Beauty and the Boat.
Before
In the
time,
age
before
of
time.
social media and internet, it seems that the growing extremities of vanity have reached a new peak. So much so, vanity is now even proven deadly as it costs two influencers their lives. In 2024, off the coast of Brazil, in a stretch of water known quite ominously as the Devil's Throat, a group of
Bro, okay, that's kind of on you, right? Do not go in somewhere called the Devil's Throat. I don't care if it's water. I don't care if it's gonna look good for the Instagrams, the TikToks, the Twatter, whatever. I was trying to make a good joke, okay? I was gonna say like the Insta messages. You know what I mean?
six influencers were boozing
It
and
was gonna be
cruising on a
funny.
party boat. As the six of them loaded onto the boat with a maximum capacity of 5, they thought, 5 schmive, what could possibly go wrong?
There's a reason why there's those stickers there. See, that's a problem. Nobody reads the stickers anymore, and it drives me crazy. The stickers are there for a reason. Literally, they make it so simple, so you don't even have to read to be able to tell this is bad. Circle X means bad.
Well,
Oh, and also, again, you disobeyed the laws of the stickers in the Devil's Throat.
spoiler alert, a lot. But let's rewind a little bit, why don't we? Turns out overloading the boat was only part of their moronic demise, what with 2 of the women refusing to wear life jackets.
Seems
Why,
legit.
you might ask? Well, because according to police, the influencers said that life jackets would totes like ruin their tans and selfie
What do you mean? I see literal influencers post with life jackets.
is duh. Yep, the women literally disregarded potentially life-saving precautions for the sake of their tans and selfies. I can only assume they were huge fans of the Darwin Awards and wanted one for themselves.
I don't think you want one
Challenging
of
the girls'
those.
foolish hubris, Miss Mother Nature soon struck their boat with a huge wave, quickly sinking the vessel due to its exceeded weight capacity. Without life jackets nor, here's the punchline, the ability to swim, the jacketless jugheads met their immortal reality.
They could not swim? Maybe the stickers were too much for them, right? I thought the stickers were a all age thing, right? Always listen to the stickers. That's how I was raised, right? And in school, they were like, one thing you gotta do to make sure you do well in this world is to always read the stickers. And I was like, okay. But imagine, I don't think they could even read the stickers, guys.
Just to recap, 2 women who couldn't swim got on an overcapacitated boat and refused to wear life jackets, all because they wanted good tans and selfies. In the world of influencers, I'm sure this is all just an occupational hazard, but please, let this be a cautionary tale about the deathly dangers of vanity. Virtual reality versus mortal reality.
How does this even happen? Like, you gotta put, so with a VR, you gotta put like the spaces, you know? Like you gotta draw out your map. How does this happen?
Alright, so this next story is another gem sent in to us from a viewer, going by the name Wild Jr. And well, all I'm gonna say is that it's a real 21st century shocker. In New South Wales, Australia, a woman was at home enjoying her brand new virtual reality set. You know, the kind where you wear a blinding headset and wave your arms around like a crazy person? Well, while she may have escaped to the virtual world, her mortal reality loomed just around the corner. As she was about to find out why, it's probably a good idea to clear your surroundings before jerking your body around blindfolded. As
Well,
the
is there not the like draw your own boundary
woman
thing?
jolted back, she tripped on some clutter, falling onto an old beat-up electric heater. This in turn electrocuted her to a crisp while simultaneously
Okay, right. There's a lot of things to unpack here. So first off, apparently there's no VR walls. And second off, why the heck would you have an electric heater just sitting in the middle of the room that is obviously shockproof? That is obviously so bad it's shocking, right? Okay, I get it. It gets hot, it gets cold, you want a heater. Don't get me wrong. I get you. I hear you. But why would you have it in the middle of your room?
causing a house fire. Yikes. Hope she was enjoying the game at least. Tractor tragedy. There are many things in life that might seem like a fun idea, but in reality are extremely stupid and dangerous. One such instance might be rolling down a mountain.
It's like cave divers. Sorry to like go off on a tangent here. Why the heck would you ever cave dive in your life? I'm sorry, it makes no sense. Who wants to go in this little small place and get trapped in a cave? No, that's a bad idea. What are you gonna see? Rock? And guess what? More rock. Cool. Great exploration, buddy.
On the inside of a tractor's tire.
Sorry.
See what I mean?
We're just having fun. Don't take me too serious. I'm not hating, but cave diving's stupid.
Tell me that doesn't sound fun as hell. But you wouldn't actually do it, would you? Well, our next Darwin Award recipient was so deficient in common sense.
Problem is, right? I think I'd do that one, not gonna lie. Like, I would think I'm not like a crazy smart guy, but I'm relatively smart. I'm just average, you know what I mean? I might have some chopped talking, but that's the American education system. Linguistics have not been my friend, don't get me wrong. But that sounds fun. It really does sound fun. Getting in a tire and just woo!
That he willingly tire tumbled down a mountain with a 70-degree decline, which bottomed out.
Oh, I wouldn't do that. Okay, never mind. Why are you like going down some crazy mountain?
Volga River. Plummeting down at an uncontrollably high speed and
You're
into
gonna get
said
knocked
river,
out.
the guy
Yeah.
couldn't free himself from the wheel and
Oh.
drowned, earning his place as one of humanity's biggest dum-dums to ever live. Thank you to our viewer Ilya Popov for gracing us with this marvelously idiotic tale. Catch of the day. While there are so many sports that can be considered dangerous, like boxing or dirt biking, you'd assume that fishing from the safety of the waterside is relatively tame. And well, for the most part, it is, unless you're fatally lacking in spatial awareness like this next guy. Whilst out fishing along the shore of a local dam, the 46-year-old from the city of Rus in Bulgaria cast out his huge 20-foot-long carbon fishing rod. Evidently, however, observing his immediate surroundings,
Oh, he got hit on the power cord. That's rough. I'm not gonna lie. Like, first off, you gotta be aware of your surroundings. Don't get me wrong. But this is one where I don't even think it's you're stupid. It's just you're not paying attention to your surroundings. So this isn't really. Out of all of them, I would say this is the least stupid.
wasn't his forte, what with him failing to realize there was a high-voltage power line directly above him. Yep, as he hurled out his line and it met the wire, the powerful current zapped down his rod and electrocuted the man to a crisp. Needless to say, I don't
Hey,
think
that's how you know it's a good fishing pole, though, right? It probably promised all metal. Sounded like it was. We gotta look at the price tag.
this was quite the buzz he was hoping to get from his fishing trip. Shout out to our viewer Viara, all the way from Bulgaria, for sending in this prize catch of a story. Surrender to the seatbelt. It may be a novel idea, but hear me out. Seatbelts can actually save lives. Insane, I know. Though in all seriousness, did you know that they've been proven to reduce the risk of death for drivers involved in serious crashes by a massive 50%? Meaning they're
Well, in all fairness, right? I think the people that don't wear seatbelts know the risks, but seatbelts kind of make a lot of sense. When you're in a car getting in a car crash, where's that force gonna go? In the backseat, I would say it's not as, I don't know. Yeah, I guess you're gonna get sloshed around still, but like in the front seat for sure, you're gonna go straight like a torpedo.
importance cannot be overstated. And with that in mind, allow me to introduce you to our next Darwin Award winner whose bizarre hatred towards seatbelts came round to bite him on the behind. The year was 2008, and a New Zealand man had accumulated some 32 fines on account of seatbelt violations. Seemingly no amount of fines or reprimanding would convince this lawbreaker to wear a seatbelt. As a matter of fact, his bizarre aversion to seatbelts was so severe that he even fashioned a fake seatbelt of sorts.
Okay, at this point, no. If you have this much beef with seatbelts, you got something going on there, buddy. Right? Imagine having so much beef, you're faking a seatbelt. Nah, that's crazy work. Just put it on.
That would lay across his chest to give the impression of a seatbelt to any pesky cops. Seriously, at that effort level, why not just wear an actual seatbelt? And while this might have successfully averted a few more fines, it didn't avert his death. It seems fate certainly isn't without a sense of irony, because the man met his end in a car accident that otherwise wouldn't have killed him, had he
Well, I don't think it was fate's sense of irony. I think it was just play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
been wearing a seatbelt. According to the coroner's report, the fatality occurred due to his body converging with the steering wheel when his car hit the oncoming vehicle, which the coroner confirmed would have had a very high probability of survivability if the driver had, you guessed it, been restrained by a seatbelt.
That's ironic. I'm not gonna lie. You know, this dude's just like wherever he is. Who knows? Maybe there's an afterlife. Maybe there's not. Who knows? But you know, if there is one, he's just being like, you know, man, I still wouldn't wear that seatbelt. I guarantee you, that's what he's thinking, because there ain't no way I would ever say it was my fault. If that were me, if I were so committed to not wearing a seatbelt, I'm gonna die on that hill.
So while a fake seatbelt might fool a cop or two, unfortunately, you can't fool the laws of physics. Harry's situation. At some point or another, we've all experienced the unpleasantness of getting a hair in our mouth. For most, it's uncomfortable, but for our next Darwin Award
That's
winner,
gross.
it was clearly irresistible, as she regularly loved munching on her own locks. Now, this winner's hairy appetite was a somewhat
sorry.
lifelong.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip a little bit. I can't. Like, genuine, that grosses me out a lot.
However, by 1999, the young woman who was ironically studying hairdressing had grown her locks back out. And well, it's true that old habits die hard, given that she had chomped through so much of her own hair that a giant undigested hairball formed in her lower abdomen. So giant,
sorry.
in fact, it was said to be the size and shape of a football. As you can imagine, this caused great pain and discomfort.
That
and
legitimately
eventually
grosses me out.
surgery proved necessary. And
Ooh.
while the hairy monster was removed, unfortunately, complications in the recovery process spelled the end for our strange snacker. Her life may have been cut short, pardon the pun, but at least she'll always be remembered as the girl who ate so much hair that she died. There's gotta be a Guinness World Record in there somewhere, right? Deliciously dangerous.
Oh, not another gross
hi
one,
there.
please.
Today I'm going to be showing you how I cook up one of my favorite snacks, Mysore Banda, a South Asian classic. You will need flour, curd, baking soda, onions, ginger, curry leaves,
How do you
cilantro,
die
and
to
of
this
course, powdered pesticides to give it
Oh
that
yeah,
extra kick.
that's probably not good. That's not healthy, right? I hear it's pretty spicy.
Wait, what? Okay, so back in 2020 in the Indian state of Tamil Nadu, one 22-year-old newlywed wife was preparing some delicious Mysore Banda for her husband and in-laws. To make the dish, her father-in-law brought her some Maida flour. Unfortunately, he left it on the counter right next to a bag of powdered pesticides for the
As you do, right? As you just put the pesticide next to the flour, seems legit.
family's farmland. Despite the flour and pesticides being in what we can only assume to be very different packaging, the clueless cook mistook them both for being flour and got to cooking with them. Having literally poisoned the food, it's hardly surprising that shortly after the family fell severely ill and was rushed to the hospital. Fortunately, the in-laws somehow managed to survive the lethal dose of pesticides. However, the newlywed couple weren't so lucky.
In-law has this. Well, look at the in-laws. Sick immune system. They're like, yo, give me some pesticide. I'll firm it. These youngins don't know what about the pesticide.
Hard to believe that someone could be dumb enough to confuse pesticides with flour, but this innovative chef is living proof. Well, was. A special shout out to Gotham Ashanganadam, who suggested this brilliant story to us via email. If you know of any Darwin Award-worthy stories, email it to us at stories@beamazed.com, and we might just feature it in our next installment. Oh, and if you're really loving this series, then why not head on over to my official merch store via the link on screen and get your hands on our amazingly crafted poster we call Natural Selection in Action. Showing 75 illustrations of some of my favorite Darwin Award winners from throughout the series. You're sure to spot something new every time you look at it.
That's really cool. It's like one of those like Clue. You remember Clue? That was a fun book.
Perfect gift or home decor. Grab it while stocks last. Fish supper. Packed with protein, vitamins, and omega-3 fatty acids, it's no wonder that fish is such a popular choice of cuisine. I don't know how you like your fish, but I personally...
I detest seafood. As you can tell, I got a very weak stomach, right? The hair thing legitimately almost made me puke. But like seafood's one of those where like even just the texture of it, nah, keep that away from me. I wish I could eat it. Don't get me wrong. I really wish I enjoyed seafood because the amount of vitamins and things it gives you is so good. It's just I can't. I really can't.
Prefer
my chicken tenders.
Mine to be dead before I eat it. Seems obvious,
and rice
but
and beans.
In 1998, one 23-year-old was hanging out with his friends when he was challenged to a dare. His task was simple: swallow a live fish. And well, everyone knows that the first rule of dares is that you simply cannot turn down a dare. Besides,
that is true.
He had reportedly performed this party trick before anyway, with a 5-inch...
So he's done this before. He survived and did it again. Hey, first off, I feel like doing this with a regular fish is a lot less likely to get you, like, die, at least, rather than an aquarium. Then you put so many chemicals, so many different things in an aquarium, you're probably cooked. But, like, in the ocean, people eat sushi all the time. Like, I'm pretty sure there are cultures that they're like sardines and things, now that I think about it. So, like, with this, you just don't get out of the aquarium.
Fish in hand, our man gulped down his live supper. But in doing so, the fish got lodged in his throat, causing him to choke his way into the great beyond. Worse yet, paramedics reported how when they arrived, the fellow was dead, but the fish was still alive and wriggling with its tail sticking out.
W fish. Let's be honest, right? Like, I really think that fish is a survivor. They should have let its days go on.
Out of his mouth. But hey, at least he was a good sport, right? But while we're on the topic of people dying from eating animals that probably shouldn't be eaten, our next Darwin Award winner had more of an appetite for amphibians. It was 2017 and a group of
I don't know. There's a lot of people that eat frog legs, though.
Korean men
I feel like that's not a weird diet thing. I wouldn't do it, but it's not weird.
Out at a reservoir when they decided to hunt some
But don't eat poison
bullfrogs
frogs, that's for sure.
On.
Yeah, edible bullfrogs.
Only those were no edible bullfrogs. As the men would soon discover the hard way, what they had caught were actually toads. Specifically, toads of the Bufo genus, which were carrying a chemical poison known as bufotoxin, which, spoiler alert, can be deadly. This poisonous substance is a natural deterrent to predators, and it's safe to say it certainly worked as the men began violently vomiting and were rushed to the hospital.
Jeez, the frog was on smoke from day one.
Strangely, while all of the men exhibited similar symptoms, only one of them fatally succumbed to the poisoning, presumably the guy who was hungriest.
So it was frog roulette.
R.I.P. That is, ribbit in peace to the poor toads who had to go through this.
Not ribbit in peace. That's crazy.
Fools versus fireworks.
Oh my gosh, yes. Literally, I think fireworks need to come with a cognitive test. The amount of people I see online burn their house down, burn their hands off, burn everything but actually getting the firework where they need to go. No, they should never be allowed to buy fireworks.
With fireworks quite literally
And you know what's hilarious though? You know what I find funny about fireworks is everyone that like always blows up their house, or the type of people that just mismanage fireworks, are the same people that's been like, oh, I've done this 25 times.
being explosives, the dangers of playing with them shouldn't need to be stated. However, this is a Darwin
There's a
Awards
reason-
video after all.
Again, there's a reason why there's a little sticker drawing. Listen to the drawings, and it will save your life.
And, well, I'm sure
It has the line through it and the boom. You know what? You don't want a boom. That's what the sticker says.
you can imagine things don't usually pan out great when an idiot and fireworks cross paths. Case in point, one 32-year-old fellow from India who was celebrating Diwali. The popular religious holiday is often referred to as the Festival of Lights, and accordingly, many choose to celebrate with fireworks. As such, this individual, along with 6 of his pals, was enjoying the festivities and some drinks. Though clearly a bit too much at the point where
Yeah, that's when you know, right? Yeah, I don't see how this could ever go well. And like, why would you even consider
it
this?
started to seem like a good idea to sit on a box of lit fireworks.
Why?
Yep, as part of a dare deal, our Genius of the Year would
It's always a dare. Don't get me wrong. I will try to do a dare if I'm given one. But if it's something like this, no. They just want to you're going to get slimed out. I'm sorry. It's just going to happen.
sit on the lit fireworks, and in return, his so-called friends would buy him an auto rickshaw. I mean, it sounds like an undeniable deal. Life-ending burns and injuries to your rear end from sitting on an explosive in return for a glorified bike. Who could say no? With this level of stupidity,
The worst part is I probably wouldn't buy it. The amount of people that have given me dares, and I do them. I've done them, and then they don't pay. It's so sad. It is sad. Like, when did we stop valuing the thing of a dare? If you bet me $5, I'm gonna do it. Well, unless it's stupid.
it was only a matter of time before natural selection took its course in some way or another, and
Alright, if you made it this far to the video, comment down below your worst dare you've ever been given. Let me know.
in this case,
I didn't
it
know
was
mine,
one
now that I
hell of
think
an
about it.
explosive finale.
What's a crazy dare you could think of that you've been given?
Flattened fate.
Comment down below.
Despite
I
what we
truly
might see
want
in
to
the
know.
Disney movies and fairy tales, wild animals are, well, just that, wild. And as such, their tendencies can be pretty aggressive, especially when faced with stupidity in human form like this next Darwin Award winner. In 2024, a 43-year-old Spanish man and his fiancée were part of a group touring the South African wildlife of the Pilanesberg National Park. As the car passed a group of wild elephants, the man insisted they stop so that he might get up close to the elephants and take pictures.
No, do not get close to. Horton Hears a Who is not going to think about you. You're just going to get squashed.
Now, to you,
That's
me,
terrible
and
idea.
everyone in the car with him, this sounded like a terrible idea, so they strongly tried to advise him not to do it.
Heck, even the guides were probably like, you know what? He's a goner. Let's go to the next stop.
What do they know?
Being a safari guide, it must suck. You got to deal with tourists just doing stupid stuff, and I'm sure you're liable if one of them gets hurt. Yeah, that must suck. That must be a
I'm
terrible
sure
job.
the guy thought as he approached the giants with his camera, painfully ignorant of the stampede that was about to ensue. Well, the elephants were clearly feeling under threat by the uninvited approach because they charged towards the man, knocked him to the ground,
Well, obviously, he had a weapon.
and quite literally
The camera.
flattened him as they repeatedly stomped on his tenderized meat suit. Yeah, I don't remember this part of Dumbo. I can only imagine this guy's last words were, "Honey, get my pictures developed." Fatally greedy. People often ask me, gee, be
Did
amazed.
they die to a glizzy? Let's hope not. Imagine dying as the glizzy guzzler. That'd be crazy.
What do you think the funniest food is? And to that I say, while tater tots and fish sticks are close contenders, the prize has to go to hot dogs.
Why does it have to be tater tots? What's wrong with a tater tot? Do I not know the lore behind tater tots? That's crazy. I thought they were normal.
I mean, come on, wieners. What
If you know tater tot lore, let me know.
more do I need to say? One person who didn't find hot
Wieners.
dogs quite so funny, unfortunately, was the South Dakota man who succumbed to the wiener back in 2014 when he was participating in a hot dog eating competition.
Too many glizzies. The glizzy guzzler. Like I said.
This took a turn for the bratwurst after this dog gobbler wolfed down so many wieners that his body couldn't keep up and he soon began to choke. Despite attempts at CPR by the event's support staff, it was too late. In response to the dude's doggone demise, the contest sponsor said, quote, "We are at a loss for words." So was he. Well, he may never have
That's
won the
a
hot
never say that to if someone died choking. Never say we are at a loss for words.
dog eating competition, but do you know what he did win? That's right, a Darwin Award! Subway Surfers. We've all probably seen or even played the phone game Subway Surfers. Simple concept. Kid runs on top of moving trains, hopping from one to the next. And as thrilling as that might seem, I think we can all agree that doing it in real life probably isn't a great idea. Not least deadly. Well, proving yet again how common sense isn't actually all that common, in 2024, a group of young men in Austria decided to play some live-action Subway Surfers. Thrill-seeking, they somehow managed to get atop
Do
of
they
a
just
train moving.
when people do this? Do they just not think about the risk, or do they know the risk? I've thought about this a lot. It's like if you're doing something like this, you know the risk. For example, I want to go skydiving. I know the risk, right? It could go bad. Odds are it won't because skydiving is very safe. But I know the risks of skydiving, right? But do you think people like this are thinking about the risks? You know what I mean? I don't
At
know.
around
Let me know.
30 miles per hour. Not exactly extreme speed, but still fast enough to be life-threateningly dangerous nonetheless. All of this whilst filming everything for a TikTok. The youth of today.
It's always a TikTok. Oh, it's always a TikTok. The 60 seconds isn't worth it, guys, right? It's just not. It's okay. It is okay. If you have no good ideas, it's okay to not post. Sometimes it's best to not post.
Am I right? Shockingly, it wasn't long until disaster struck. As the train approached a tunnel, the guys flattened themselves to the roof, leaving mere inches to spare. But just as the tunnel was exited, two of the fellas got up and turned towards the camera, unaware of the oncoming railway bridge that was about to knock them into another dimension. One of the surfers made his final departure, if you will, while the other miraculously survived. The two
Did they
who were
post to
wielding the
TikTok?
cameras were unharmed and filmed all the details before posting it to TikTok. My faith in humanity.
Did they not get arrested? Well, I guess you can get arrested, but I don't know. Something has to be done.
Truly is at a record low. No strings attached. For many thrill seekers, taking to the bungee rope is perhaps the ultimate adrenaline rush. As
See,
they
I
know
just
those-
couldn't do a bungee rope. Bungee rope always goes bad. Every single video, right? You don't really see many skydiving accidents, or at least I haven't. Bungee ropes, I see dozens.
themselves hundreds of feet through the air. But as we're about to find out, bungee jumping probably isn't the best idea if you are, well, an idiot. Back in 2021, a 25-year-old woman and her boyfriend were bungee jumping for the first time in Colombia. As the amateur daredevils took to the platform 150 feet in the air, they began to get harnessed up to the safety equipment. Having been fully harnessed and attached to the platform, the boyfriend was given the go-ahead by the instructor, but for some reason, Eager Beaver girlfriend, who was not yet attached to the harness equipment, presumed the signal was for her. So over she went. As expected, Gravity had a few things to say about that decision.
How does that even happen? How do you not know you're not connected?
Let's just say this wasn't a tumble she could just walk off. Blowhole
You think the boyfriend still did it? Let me know.
buffoonery. Ever heard of a blowhole? For those who don't know, these are, in simple terms, naturally occurring geological structures that form when sea caves grow inwards and under the land, causing a vertical shaft to form between sea and surface. These geological
Yeah, don't those
oddities
get
can
like
be
1,000 degrees?
unpredictable, not to mention deadly, as our next Darwin Award winner found out the hard way. It was 2002 and a young man was goofing around a blowhole in Hawaii, completely disregarding the warning signs which advised a safe distance.
Again, never listen to the stickers.
This adventurer was peering over the opening when a blast of seawater burst up right through it. It knocked him 5 feet into the area, after which the current of the returning water sucked
Okay, so
him
it's not
deep
one of the hot ones, but I have heard of ones that
down
are like...
into the blowhole where it's believed he got trapped in the uneven rocky interior and eventually ran out of air. Yikes, pretty terrifying way to go. And of course, entirely avoidable, as all the best Darwin Award winner demises are. So remember, be smart, be careful, and stay alive, because I wouldn't want to have to tell your story in this series.
Yeah, if you guys enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Please leave a comment down below on what you want to see next and what you want to talk about, whatever. See you next time. Bye!